Welcome to Hello Player, a show for curious people who want an honest look at making a video game. I'm your host, Ava Carr, and in this season finale episode, Charles and I will talk about launching the game HyperDot. It's out! The intense moments leading up to the release, and what we've learned about shipping a game at this scale. So let's get started.
Oh my goodness, why are we doing that? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so...
the game's out.
Yep.
The game's out.
That happened. And that's it. All right, so we'll see everyone later.
You were a mess leading up to the launch.
Yes, I was totally messed up. The game is out. It's weird that the game is out. It's weird that there are people playing the game, and I don't know that they're playing it. That's the weirdest part.
There's people out in the world playing it.
Yeah.
And then they ping you online sometimes.
Yes. They're like, oh, there's a bug. I'm like, ah, crap.
Ah, damn it.
But yeah, no, it's like, it's weird. No, it's just, yeah, it's a weird, like, it's a relief that it's out there, but then it's also at the same time, I'm like, oh, there's so many things that I want to do to update it and fix it and do all these other weird stuff that I only see. And I'm like, oh, these are things I want to fix. No, it's crazy that it's actually out there now.
And people are playing it.
And people are actually playing it, yeah.
I feel like we've just been repeating ourselves.
Yes,
like, it's out and people are playing it. It's out and people are playing it.
Yeah. Did you know that HyperDot's out?
HyperDot's out and people are playing it.
Yes, please buy it on Xbox and Steam and itch if you are. Okay. But no. But yeah.
What were your feelings leading up to the launch?
Extremely nervous. And kind of stressed out because we were having some cert issues.
Yes, we were. I completely forgot about that.
Yep.
I think my brain
has
forgotten about it. I swear this whole podcast is us talking about cert and E3. Like that's all we're talking about here.
Dang cert. So leading up to release,
you made decisions.
I made decisions. They were kind of poor.
They were decisions.
They were decisions.
Bold decisions.
They were really bold decisions. They weren't poor. They were bold.
They were bold decisions.
I made the bold decision to make some last minute updates to HyperDot. That was a bad idea. Because then I thought I had more time. I thought I had all the time in the world. And then I submitted for cert, and then it took a while. It took a little bit for them to get back, and they were like, hey, something went wrong.
Mm-hmm. And I think, okay, so I know we can't talk about it too in depth, but just sweeping things, I think it's important to let our listeners know that we weren't submitting cert like the month of.
Oh, yeah.
So we weren't incredibly crazy.
Yes.
We weren't that bold.
No.
We did have, and I think honestly, you made me feel much more comfortable by saying like, yes, I'm going to tackle this big thing, and this kind of like bold change.
Yeah.
And you comforted me and I think like to our, like past Charles, past Ava, we were like, we got a safety build. We were past her.
Safety build. That's
build.
Great.
This is like E3 all over again, and I should have known because you do that to me. You're like, oh, I have a safety build, and I'm like, okay, all of my concerns have been washed away. Yeah. I am zen.
Yeah.
And then,
oh boy. So that safety build, false profit. All right. So the safety build thing. I was totally banking on the fact that, hey, we have a safety build. So if I did nothing, everything will still happen.
Yeah,
We're
and
good.
the game will go out into the world, and we'll be fine.
No worries.
We passed.
There was a big problem. I can't talk about too much of that, but there was a big problem that now made that not as secure, I guess.
Yeah,
not
sorry,
as safe.
we can't talk about it, but something happened. Something big happened.
Yes.
And
then this was like 3 weeks before launch. And I was like, oh no.
When Charles made the bold move to work on the level editor.
I'm sorry. I really wanted to make the level editor better. I wanted to be like, okay, I want to make it so that all these things are easy to understand and more intuitive. Well, easier to understand. It's still, there's still some things that I can work on. But yeah, I had all these things that I wanted to change, and I was like, oh yes, the safety build.
I hate you.
I know. And then I was like, oh, okay, fine, safety build. That's great. 3 weeks before, that is no longer the case. And it was me just trying to figure out, how do I fix this before launch so that things don't break and go wrong.
Yeah. So what were you like? Tell the listeners what you were actually fixing.
Yeah.
Like in the level editor.
Oh,
what
yeah.
were you doing in the level editor?
So yeah, what I was fixing in the level editor was so really it was like a lot of quality of life things. So making sure that, oh yeah, you can copy paste. There was undo and redo, so you can undo your actions and stuff, and things like that. And then the biggest thing was redesigning how you put enemies in the game. So like how you say, oh yes, I want enemies to show up at this spot with these properties and whatnot. Redoing that to be a lot easier to understand. 3 weeks. But at the 3 week mark, I was like, okay, I'm done. I had to cut the undo redo feature. It was a little too buggy. But I was like, okay, submit. Problems.
Yeah, and it should have been fine.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it really, it should have been fine. It should have been a couple of minor fixes, and but something had happened.
Yeah. Where largely the thing that went wrong is that there was save related stuff that was messing up. So I had 3 weeks to figure out the save related stuff. And then I had 2 weeks. And then I had 1 week.
And then you had like 2 days.
Then I had 2 days. And it was just like, oh, this sucks. I regret relying on safety build. Probably should submit for cert
way more often.
But yeah, so that was a one heck of an experience. But finally, like 2 days before, I think it was actually was like a day and a half before, where we got the email saying, all right, you passed. And then I just...
How did that feel? Because I know, like, just the weeks beforehand, you were in the office less. I know you were...
Yep.
Like, I wake up really early, so I'll wake up at, 5 in the morning, do my thing, answer emails, and then I see you green circle on Discord, and I'm like, hey, have you slept? Or did you just wake up? Like, are you still awake, or did you just wake up?
Yeah. There were secret updates.
They don't think this was such a secret.
This was I was just super stressed out. I was just trying to figure out, how do I right my wrong and fix what was going on and fix this saving issue and stuff. So,
and we had already announced the date, so it was like Yep. There was no return at this point.
Yeah, we were not ready to be like, we're gonna.
Yeah, we had contacted all of our people, like gave them the green light that it was happening. Things were in motion with all of our partners, and it was just so stressful.
Yeah. But yeah, after getting that email saying, yeah, you passed, it was just like, all right, and now I'm gonna melt into the floor, and then I'm gonna not do anything. No, there were still some things that I had to do, but there were like leagues not less stressful. After that, it was just like, it's over.
Yeah, but that was like the day before release.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So then my stress
Did you have
related...
like an hour of like, I'm gonna melt into the floor, and then all of a sudden you were back and being like, God, it's coming out, and there are people going to be playing it who are going to be playing it, and there are going to be tickets and support tickets that come in.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so it was, me being like, I did it. And then, just being like, okay, now I have to worry about it launching, which was actually, in comparison, less stressful, largely because I knew that it wouldn't completely catastrophically break. I just was hoping that it wouldn't break entirely. Yes, that made sense.
So the game came out. What was it like that weekend for you?
It was insane. There was just so much support from everyone, especially on like Twitter and things, people reaching out and talking about it, watching streams of people playing. It was like awesome. The downside of our release date was that it was the weekend of Global Game Jam.
Yeah.
And I typically participate in Global Game Jam, but I was not able to do that, seeing as though I had game launching.
We only had a few weekends to choose from, so it was like, Charles,
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was amazing to see people play the game and such. In fact, there was a particular stream that was like really not reassuring. It was like some type of closure for a little bit.
Wait, what?
There was so one person from my college for the longest time was like, so Charles, when's Anti-Piracy coming out?
I think I know who this person is. This is still the person who actually deleted squares.
No,
they deleted triangles,
pentagons.
stars, pentagons. Oh, God. There's only 5 of them. I can keep going.
But this wasn't that. This was the friend group, group, where everybody was totally like, so when's Anti-Piracy coming out? But finally seeing them stream that game and of course the title of the stream was Anti-Piracy is out.
Of course.
but like actually finally seeing that, I was like, yes, it's out. It's done.
This you made it for that one person.
Yeah, it was like, this is it. All right.
They've been trying to get you to release it for years.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's so like moments like that where I was where like a ton of people were again streaming it, tweeting about it. It's a lot of fun. Something that I've been doing and have been doing ever since is going on the Xbox capture area, play area.
Yeah, it's so dope.
Yeah,
like,
and just seeing people like post videos and pictures and stuff of it is just, I just love doing that and going on there and writing comments, because I was like, wait, that's a thing that people can do. And then now I'm like participating, like, oh man, that was cool that you did this, or like, oh, that was so clutch. Stuff like that. And it's just been amazing to see people like engage with the game. And that weekend especially, there was streams going on like every day.
Like every day, multiple streams going on every day. And it was so hard to keep up because we like wanted to watch all of them.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember when the trailer had dropped from the Xbox side. It was wild. I know you're not supposed to read the comments, but I read the comments.
Yep.
But it was funny to actually see when some like so many people were saying, "Oh, I thought this was a new Microsoft Assistant software," because of like the opening kind of like dot going bloop bloop, and then
Too good.
And then also like when all of our A11Y partners had jumped on and streamed and played with all of the different types of controllers. And they actually finally got their hands on the game. It was kind of like, this is amazing. And oh gosh, like one of the first ones when Brown Man had jumped in to play too. How'd you feel about that?
That was insane. Actually, so the person in that friend group that is like the biggest person who was like, so when's HyperDot coming out? Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
He like messaged me and he messaged on Discord. It was like, hey, did you know that Brown Man is currently playing your game?
He was the one that did that?
Yeah. And I was like, wait, what? So then, I just totally hopped on, and Brown Man was streaming it on Twitch.
Yeah,
and
there were like, I don't know, 3,000 concurrent viewers. And it was so fun watching him play that dang game.
It was so good.
The moment, oh gosh, I don't know. Should we? It's not spoilers anymore. So like the moment that like, okay, so setting the scene.
Bam.
We jump in and he's playing. He's like at level 60 or 70.
Yeah.
And he said he'd play for 30 minutes. And I know, right? It's like, hey, I'll play HyperDot for 5 minutes. So he said he played for 30 minutes, and we hopped in there and we were like, okay, this is dope. We're going to watch you play. And then we just started being like, should we be dropping keys? Like, this would be really fun. Can we drop keys? Like, there's nothing stopping us from dropping keys, right? We're here. There's a chat. He cool with it. Like, so we were just like, hey, we're in the chat. Charles, you were like, I'm the developer. I'm in the chat. And he started just chatting with you and talking to you. Mm-hmm. And pretty much every like 10 or 15 or so levels, I think like around 10 levels, we were dropping a key. And he was like playing to get keys for his community. And it was so awesome to see that happen. Definitely. And I think the best freaking moment of all of this was like we encouraged him to get up to like 90, I think. And he was like, oh, but I want to finish the game. And we were like, okay, we'll drop 2 keys if you finish the game or something. And so he gets there and he plays and it's like, thank you, credits roll, and then you happen. Like, and seriously, when you happen, it's like,
oh, yeah. It is the greatest clip ever. No, you should.
And Final Countdown was happening too. Like, he had Final Countdown playing. Oh, yeah. It was so great. It was so perfect.
Yeah, everything was great. Oh, my goodness. That clip, it's on Glitch's Twitter. Please go. I hope it's in the show notes. It's so good. Like, every time that I come across that tweet or I watch it, I'm like, oh, man, this was a great moment. And then I just replay it. I'm like, oh man, this is still really good.
Yeah. He said thank you. And then you basically said,
I was like,
yeah. You're thanking me now.
Yeah.
You're so horrible.
But yeah, no. So like moments like that were amazing to see and like participate in. And then also the support from Xbox, where there were multiple people, one within the Xbox community, so the ID at Xbox community.
Yeah, the ID at Xbox team.
Them streaming the game and stuff like that. And then also being invited on the official Xbox Mixer channel. And like being interviewed while people were playing HyperDot was just like, what? No, that doesn't... I'm hype. This is no.
I'm hype.
I'm hype. Like no, this isn't supposed to. This is I'm Charles McGregor. This isn't. No, this I'm not supposed to be on Xbox. But yeah, so it was just insane to do that, and like every single day for for 2 weeks after. There was just things going on.
And even
both positive and negative.
And even our pals over at MinMax here, like they did a video on it, which we weren't expecting.
Nope.
I'm looking at you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
And we were like, what? Ben's playing this? Like, I don't know. There's always that, like, I don't ask Ben to play the things because there's this like professional thing going on. and like when he played it, I was like, Ben! I was sitting there watching it and being like, oh my gosh, you're playing it and you enjoy it and you like it. Thank you.
No, that was awesome. But yeah, it's just to summarize the 2 weeks after launch, it was just tons of people supporting the game and things like that. I had like really high highs and lows and going crazy. Not everything was positive. There were like bugs and things. Fortunately, there weren't
one specific bug.
There weren't any bugs that were like on streams and stuff that were major. Only things I saw. If you didn't know it was a bug, then you probably wouldn't notice it was a bug.
I noticed when Juniper started playing.
Yes.
She was like, and when she got to the impossible levels, I'm betting that you and I are going to say the same bug. But when Juniper started playing and it was like level 2 or something of sorts on the impossible levels. I forget the name right now.
I guess that would be piracy.
That one. But in piracy, she was using a mouse and keyboard, and she was on ice. And she was like, oh, my person's bouncing, my dot's bouncing. Oh, look, bouncy dot. Oh, I'm a vibe over here, I'm a vibe over there. And I was like, oh crap, you're not supposed to be vibing anywhere, girl.
That's still a thing that I need to address. Yeah, so
want to address it here?
I'm still trying. Well, I don't know the best way to tackle that bug.
It's a hard
yeah,
one.
it's a hard bug. Basically, for those who want to know, that bug is basically if you play the game with a mouse and you're on an ice level, you start jittering. You start vibing back and forth. But yeah, you start vibing back and forth, and then basically, the ice part of the level becomes moot because of like it. Yeah, you're just moving in one spot. In ice mode, you're supposed to keep moving no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a hack. Elite pro play. No, don't. That's
don't
not,
do it.
Yeah, don't do that. I need to figure out a way to figure out that. Currently, I have no idea. Well, I have some ideas, but none of them have worked. So
wait, were you thinking of a different bug?
Oh no, there's been multiple other bugs that other people would not have noticed. One of these bugs that I will now divulge that probably you've maybe encountered is sometimes enemies, their speeds they carry over from other levels.
And we definitely saw that happening with Brown Man.
Yeah, that was happening. But okay, so again, if you didn't know, then you wouldn't have known. It was just like,
you wouldn't have known. It's cool.
This is just part of the design.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, but as soon as you get to like endurance, which is like 85.
Oh yeah.
But then there was like, if there are, you don't. In fact, most of the time you're not going to notice it, and I don't even notice it when it carries over because the speeds are comparable or whatnot. But yeah, if there are an extreme speed for something, so like if an enemy is moving super quick or super slow, sometimes that carries over to a level that's not supposed to have a super quick or a super slow enemy, which makes that level either really hard or really easy. Most of the time, really hard.
Really hard, yeah, because things are moving much faster.
Yeah, much faster, or they're staying on the screen for longer.
Yeah,
because they're moving
because
much
they're
slower.
leaving. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bug that I have been addressing now. So it's gonna come out in the next patch. Well, I don't know when this is coming out, but it's coming out soon. TM. But yeah, so yeah, not everything has been
smooth sailing.
There's been bugs and things like that, like the level editor. Surprisingly, has a couple of bugs. What? No way.
Shocking! I'm just kidding.
I know, right? But yeah, that's also things that I need to address. But yeah, no. Again, the first 2 weeks of launch were just insane in terms of like, again, high highs.
Yeah.
Relatively okay lows.
Yeah.
They were not
bad.
Yeah, they were not like, oh no, everything has gone wrong.
Yeah.
But it was more like, oh man, I really should fix this. And stuff. But it wasn't preventing people from playing.
One of the topics that sticks out so clearly in my mind is the moment where there was a lot of local media and a lot of local buzz around HyperDot and you and the work that we've been doing together. And that wasn't really super expected because we're like, sure. Like, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, we're not the target audience for that.
And I thought it was so sweet when I had specifically asked you, like, how has it been since, since the KSTP thing came out and the Care 11 thing came out and, the local press and buzz around the game, how has that been for you? What has been the result? And you were like, I'm getting so many phone calls from my family.
Yes. Goodness sake. No, like a whole bunch of people. Again, it's a little humbling because it's like, whoa, like I have a different priority set or a different group of people or things that I look at and consume and stuff. But then there's this other group of people that consume a completely different thing. And it's always like eye-opening in that regard. But like, since the Care 11 local news thing, which was
with Adrian Brodus,
which was great. It was a fun time to sit down and play and then be on TV and such. But
you're on TV.
I was on. Hi, Mom. But yeah, so like since then, I was like out the woodwork. People were saying like, I saw you on Care 11 or something like something in that regard. The craziest one was that somebody that I haven't talked to in 20 years.
20?
Something
Wow.
like something around there. When I was in elementary school, my elementary school music teacher found my portfolio website that I don't promote.
Yeah.
I made that website for a class, and then it's now just sitting out there. I haven't updated it in a long time.
Did they call you? Did they email you?
They in a comment for Fingens, not HyperDot, for Fingens, they were like, "Hey, do you remember me? This is I saw you on Carol Evan." I was like, "What? This what?" So yeah, tons of people reaching out and like talking to me about the game and about what I'm doing, and stuff like that. That I haven't like interacted with in years, but like seeing like it's again that's surprising how different mediums like reach other different audiences and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's been kind of insane. From all different avenues and things.
I love the time that I also got a text from your dad being like, do you know when the KSTP thing is going live? He's like, oh, we'll make sure to record it on the VCR. And
not the DVR. This isn't that. My dad's not that outdated. Sorry, Dad. But no, yeah, on the whatever DVR.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yes, goodness sake.
But he was like, "Oh, we're getting the family together and watching that feature on you," and it's like, "This is so sweet." But despite all of that's happened during launch and after launch, like post-launch, I think the thing that probably will surprise the most, or surprise people the most, is the fact that it's just not over yet.
Oh yeah. No.
Like, it's just getting... I feel like the biggest surprise is that the launch of the game is truly, in my opinion, like the second birth.
Sure.
Like, it's like, oh, the idea, and then the idea launches, and then the idea grows up, or like the game that launched grows up. Yeah. And let's talk about what happened after launch. Like... on the development side, and let's dive in.
Sure. So from not day one, I did actually take a break and I didn't work. So.
I'm so proud of you.
I know.
Holy crap! I'm so
pat on the back. I'm that good. No, I'm that good that I took a break. What?
That's so important.
Yes,
you
it
were
is.
You were so stressed out before the launch, and even the weekend of the launch. So I'm really glad that you didn't show up in the office for a couple of days.
Yeah. Well, I did show up in the office.
I know, but like you took half days, and that was really important.
But the day after that, I did start working on fixing bugs and things that I saw. So a lot of I got a lot of like feedback from like streamers and things, Dwagonite out there. Was like feedback on like UI and things like that, making things super clear and stuff. So going in and addressing that, watching VODs of streams that I might have missed. That actually happened with Cherry stream. Somebody in the chat mentioned like, oh, I don't like, or this low rumbling, because in the game there's like an ambient sound that goes on in the background. This low rumbling they were like, it was making them really uncomfortable. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I can address that. That's a easy toggle. So things like that, other like small bug fixes and quality of life things that I want to do, or I wanted to do, I addressed and finally got that out there as an update. But working on future things in terms of stuff is like, I want to make sure that all these other bugs that I've been talking about, I need to address. I'm addressing and trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way to tackle things? Because that's one other thing that I haven't had to deal with a lot. Well, I've dealt with it before, but I haven't had to really deal with it at this scale in terms of post-launch updates and making sure whatever changes I make doesn't break things that are like people's games and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, if I make an update to saving or something like that, it's not going to be like, well, and all your data's gone.
Yeah.
So like making sure that all of that's working and stuff like that, which is a thing that I was nervous about from before.
Yeah.
And I'm not super afraid of anymore because it's the way that I've made the game. It's helped lend itself well to being able to be like, okay, if I need to do like if I fix some isolated system, it's not going to break everything. So yeah, there was a lot of that kind of stuff that I want to work on and things like that. But it's been really interesting and really helpful to hear people's feedback and things from like different reviews or people's ideas and like reaching out on Discord or on Twitter and stuff. Actually on Twitter, there's a lot of people who were like, hey, there was a bug with achievements. And I was like, oh, crap.
Ah, darn. Yeah.
Dang, achievements. Where, I was like, okay, I'll make this fix. And thank goodness I actually fixed it. I was worried that I was like, oh, I don't know if this update will fix it. It'll fix it. I was like,
yeah.
But yeah, so tons of things like that where I want to work on a lot more quality of life things. But then in addition to that, features that people have been asking for. So I'm looking into how do I try and have like a leaderboard system so that you can compare your stats with people from around the world and stuff like that. So yeah, trying to address things that people are asking for and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you just recently put out your first update. What was that update? And was it all quality of life?
It was not all quality of life. Okay. There was some like UI updates and things like that, bug fixes and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there were some minor feature things. So like the ambient sound thing was like a minor feature update, semi quality of life thing. But a lot of that was making sure that the game doesn't freak out or like bug out on random small things and stuff. There's still some stuff that I definitely want to go back and adjust and change and stuff. But yeah, that's largely what it was like quality of life, some small features, and some like bug fixes and things like that. But yeah, this next update hopefully we'll have more feature stuff, but I don't know. I'm still working on it. Although that also dates this episode. You don't know, or dates the episode in terms of when we recorded this. See, look at that. Now you can connect dots.
Tell me a little bit about, and honestly, let's just talk about like, what do you feel like have been the biggest kind of like takeaways from a launch?
Sure.
Like, what do you feel like you've learned throughout all the launch process?
Sure. There is a couple of things that I've taken away from it in terms of like HyperDot itself. There are moments, or I've learned to cherish like moments of launch and like moments where it's like, oh wow, it's actually out, or oh, this is actually like reaching people, and these are like the people that it's like people are playing and stuff like that. So things like we had a launch party, which was an awesome experience, having people come over from all over like Minnesota and some people from Wisconsin.
And some people from Seattle.
And some people from Seattle.
And some people from California.
Yeah, like that, like the sheer fact that it was like, oh, all these people are coming to support HyperDot at that point. It was insane. And it's just like something that I really do cherish, and like having a tournament at the end of it and just having a blast and seeing Ben get destroyed. Goodness sake, Ben min-max 2 ends Hanson. But yeah, so like seeing like all these people get together and actually play the game, and like that was just something that I like to cherish and stuff like that. And then the more personal goal in terms, or like the other personal thing of cherishing the moment was you did an Evva thing.
Oh, God. I did do an Ava thing, and
Yeah.
it totally backfired on me.
I mean, okay.
Is this the thing that I think you're going to say?
I don't know. Maybe.
Fine,
Okay.
say it.
So this might be the other Ava thing that you did. There's so many Ava things you've done. All right. So I was working at my desk, typing and whatnot, and then I got a phone call.
This is not the thing I was thinking. But yes, I got you.
Then I got a phone call. I was like, oh. And then I looked, I was like, oh, it's Ava. Okay. Ava was off.
Yeah, I was at DICE.
Yeah, you were at DICE.
Yeah. I was at the DICE Summit, and that's in Las Vegas, and I was away for about a week and some.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pick this up. I don't know why Ava's calling. Maybe it has to do something to do with, like, I don't know, some.
What were you expecting? Like,
I was expecting, like, oh, some business thing. So I was like, okay, business thing. I'll be all like, hi, how's it going, man? Or like, how's it going? Like, I was like,
Yeah.
So I was trying to be like, yes, I'm ready to talk.
We have not talked about what that phone call was like on your end. This is so exciting for me.
Oh no, yeah. So yeah, I picked it up and I was like, hi, how's it going? Or like, what's up? I didn't say, normally I would say, I didn't, normally I would say like, yo, or whatever. Casual.
Yo.
But no, I was like, hi, what's going on? And then there was like a brief pause. And I was like, huh, what's going on? And I was like, hey, Charles, this is Greg Miller from Kind of Funny. I was like, what? And for those who don't know, I've been like a huge, like fan of Kind of Funny and also Greg Miller for over 10 years now.
A very long time.
A very long time. And one thing, like, hearing that was, huh? And then I was like, so, like, at that point, my mind was going at a mile a minute. I was like, and then, so then, like, Greg was basically on the phone call, like, congratulating me on releasing HyperDot. Because on one of his shows that he does, he read the name HyperDot extremely quickly. Like, this is
releasing this week, HyperDot.
Yeah, on Xbox. It was like that, and then you move on.
Something else, yeah.
Yeah, and then it moved on. And I was like, that there was like something that I was like, oh man, for 10 years or something like that, I wanted to make a game that he would actually read on one of his shows. He reads the name of the game and eventually reads the description of it. But I was like, this right there, that was it. That was gold. But then, then Ava did an Ava thing and then saw Greg Miller and was like, hey, Greg, can you talk can you look at this post that I posted about, like, oh man, it was awesome that moment happened. And then, then Greg was like, I wasn't at that point.
Yeah.
So what was that after that?
Well, here's the thing. So Greg has talked about this now extensively on Twitter.
Yep.
But what he did miss out was the fact that, like, he was coming up the stairs. Like, we had a moment of eye contact because he was getting ready to do basically like the check-in and the like pre-show, not pre-show.
For the DICE Awards.
Yeah, the DICE Awards. Like, he was hosting the DICE Awards, and so he was going to just do just the practice. And so, I looked at him. He was with this person who was talking to him about where they should be going and where they need to go. And so we locked eyes. I looked down. I was like, God dang it. It's Greg. And I was like, that's Greg. And then I look up again and he's still looking at me. And so I looked down again and I was like, now it feels awkward. I need to go walk up and say hello. Because he's still looking at me. He like waved. He smiled and he waved. And I was like, I'm going to make it awkward if I don't go say hi. Because we actually locked eyes. Yep. So I walked over, said hello. And I brought up the Slack channel because you had messaged at Sunday at midnight.
Yeah, Sunday of launch. Because I was catching up on things I missed because, I was launching a game on Friday.
So I had just brought it up and I was like, can I show you something? And I just let him read it and he was like, can I just respond to him? And I said, no. Can you just call him instead? Because that'll just be weird coming from
this is Ava.
Yeah, because it would just be Ava's name messaging you. And so I had him call, and he was like, yeah, I'll call. That sounds great. So we basically, he needed to keep moving. So we were at the elevators, and we walked pretty much like, I don't know, at least about 100 steps from where I was having my meeting with my person. And I was like, could you just hold on? And so I I was like, I'll be back.
Oh my goodness.
We were just walking down the hall at the Aria, and he was like, all right, I'm going to end this call because I've walked Ava so far away from where she needed to be.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, sure, no problem.
And so after we hung up, of course, Holly had like the best dang instincts in the world, because she took a video of you doing the call. Yeah. No one told her about this.
No. Yeah, and I was just freaking out, and then she was like, "What? Wait, hold on.
Something's weird." Yeah, and she was so she recorded it, and so she posted it online, and someone had said like, "This is weird. Why would Greg call some indie dev?" Yeah. Why would you be so? This is weird? And I remember Abdiwak chiming in and being like, one of our friends being like, "How about it's not weird and it's just dope?" And then Greg posts like a giant thread about it, explaining what happened.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there was this part of me, and I don't think you and I consciously do this. If you do, I don't know. I don't consciously do it, but I think that you and I try to like one up each other on surprising each other. Yeah. Like you and your damn secret updates. Okay, no, see, and then I get Greg Miller to call you.
Yeah, no, see,
this
I
is
totally
our friendship in a nutshell.
Yeah. No, that is totally a one up shit. Oh yeah. I was like, I'll do a bigger surprise. No problem. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna top that one. But yeah, so a long roundabout way of saying moments that I cherish about launch. That was one, like, those two things in particular were two moments where I was like, I want to cherish these moments. I'm already a sentimental person, but like, I want to make sure that like I don't lose sight of what like those moments really mean. Mm-hmm. So that in terms of like launching a game and being like, oh, this is these are some of the impacts of being able to launch a game, and having people reach out and be like somebody from my old high school reached out and was like, hey, can you come over to do a like talk to kids and stuff? And I was like, oh man, that's like things like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but Ian, right?
Yeah.
He was one of the testers in.
Yes.
Did you know this? Like, he was one of our play testers when Nicholas was running the first round of of his usability study.
Yeah.
And so like he must have not known that it was your game, and you're from Harding High School.
Did not. Yeah, he mentioned that when I went over there. Also, to put that in timeline, 30 minutes after the phone call with Greg Miller, I had to talk to these kids. So I was like, wait, what? How am I supposed to do that? Luckily, they just really wanted to play the game. So that
they didn't really care about you.
They were like,
they didn't really want to talk to you. They were like
people,
video games.
There were video games. No, there were people who did ask questions and things like that, and I did answer. But yeah, so things like that. On a more technical side of things, in terms of things that I've learned from launching and stuff, I've learned that when people say that they're excited about whatever they're trying to show, or they're excited, like, you know, if you're listening to some E3 press conference or something like that, like, oh yeah, we're excited to show you things, or things like that, they actually mean it. Like, they are really, truly, like, we're really excited to finally be able to show you the things that we're working on, and the stuff that we've like been cooking up at whatever studio and stuff like that. And that is something that I now understand. Like, yeah, I was super excited just to have people be able to play the game, and be able to experience the game. And it's been again, like an eye-opening experience of having it out there, seeing people play it, and seeing the reactions that people have to various like levels or music or whatever. That kind of stuff is things that I want to not take for granted. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of that kind of trying to figure out, what is it that I can continue to do to make sure that like, yeah, the community is being heard and like listened to, and I want to make sure that, yeah, this is I'm working on this thing, or oh, there's a bug here, yeah, I'll try and fix this, or things like that. So I'm like, I really do want to like try and reach those goals of being able to do that.
What's next? I don't know. Like, it just feels like, yes, it's launched.
Yeah.
But there's still so much to do. What's next for you in your mind?
Sure. So next, like the immediate next is trying to figure out, well, how do you get leaderboards to work? So yeah, there's that. Again, dating this episode, trying to figure out when we recorded this. But yeah, so that's the immediate next. But long-term stuff, I do want to like provide more content and be able to work on, or have things there for people who are, one, still playing it, and then two, who buy it in the future and be like, oh, this is even better value of all this stuff in this game, and then there's more stuff, and it's being supported and things like that. So I have a lot of like content ideas that I want to do, and maybe even like explore things that were cut from the game. Especially like
there were things that were cut.
There were
things.
There were some things that were cut, especially some modifiers that were also cut, and things like that. But like, yeah, I want to like go back and re-explore that area and things like that. But yeah, there's
what's next for Tribe and you. Like,
sure,
you know, like the game's awesome, and I love the game so much. I am just curious what's coming up for you.
I'm not entirely sure. A lot of it is, I'm just not wrapping up HyperDot, but like working on HyperDot stuff. But then I do have ideas on things and for like future release, future games and future ideas for games and stuff like that. So like trying to eventually get to a state where I'm like, okay, maybe I should, prototype some stuff. Or I had that one idea that. I had a lot of ideas while I was working.
That you're building in dreams.
I love dreams. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Media Molecule, for making dreams. Also dating this episode. But yeah. So like a lot of ideas and things that where I'm like, oh yeah, I want to get back to working on like trying those like prototypes and trying those things and like trying to explore what that means and stuff like that. I also am because I am a solo developer. I'm also like wondering, well, is it time for me for Tribe Games particularly to expand? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like we should talk about what the future is for our partnership.
Sure.
Like, what does this mean?
This means that we're never going to talk to each other ever again.
Never.
This is
we're
it.
Done.
Yeah. I'm so glad that it's
I
over.
win on the surprise challenge.
Yeah, that's
win.
it. That was it. And I was like, all right, I can't top that. And then
that's it. Our friendship's done. I won. Like, Ava won. It's fine.
Yeah. Goodbye. No. No, it's, I mean, I totally am expecting us to work in the future more and collaborate and because I have enjoyed working with you.
I know. I feel the same way, and I just don't know what that is truly going to look like again in the future. Like all of this it's wild to think that this was a 2-year experiment.
Yes. Yeah. It's right? Like, really crazy.
This was a 2-year experiment to see how far we can push ourselves and how far we can push what we can do, and it's been so damn fun. Yeah, no,
it's been a blast. And like in fact, doing these episodes of Hello Player, it's been like really awesome to go back and think about like, oh yeah, I remember back when we first signed.
Yeah. And like, you were on the floor.
And I was on the floor.
And I was like,
yeah, it was like, that first agreement, and then like going from that first time that my brother says, hey, Ava wants to talk to you, to now, it's just like,
to your phone call with Greg Miller.
Yeah. and then the end of our friendship, because I can't top that. No, but yeah, having all of that and all these experiences of again, like childhood dream after childhood dream being achieved in like in spades. Like again, like E3, just to name one, being like, oh yes, this is E3. I'm actually going to E3, but I'm actually showing E3 or showing my game at E3, and I'm also showing my game with Microsoft at E3. And I'm like, that is just what? No, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, but it happened, and it's just like so surreal.
Yeah, and God, I agree with you so much. I can't even like. Yeah. I feel like somehow we had like in a partnership format, somehow we had been at the right place at the right time and found each other at the right place at the right time. Yeah. And our skills just somehow magically, like work together, and we liked working with each other. There's so many things that had to align to get us here. Yeah,
it does help that we've known each other for 10 years, but yeah.
But still, it could have been, like we could have communicated differently, meaning like you have a different way of communication than I do, and it makes for a challenging partnership. Like it could have been so many different things, but I feel like it was, for me at least, this just has felt so magical, and I like want to hold on to this moment. And I think that's why like the whole concept of Hello Player even came up, was just like, let's make sure we talk about this. Yeah. Let's make sure that we are able to capture what it is that we did and what made this so freaking amazing, at least to like experience. And here I am getting teary as I do. It's an Evva thing. I don't care.
Grr.
I know. So I think the last thing that I feel like we should just ask ourselves and talk about is like what might we want to say that we haven't said yet?
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles.
Yeah, no, thank you to Evva. I'm talking to you, not you, the listener. Oh, no, wait.
Not you, the listener.
No, not Evva. You, the listener. I'm talking about Evva. Thanks, Evva, for. Oh my goodness, that.
And thank you to the listeners.
Yes, I haven't gotten there yet. Now I'm thanking the listeners. Thank you. Thank you everybody for the crazy support and stuff. Hearing people's thoughts and reviews, and again, like those moments, like at the launch party and seeing everybody there, going on like Twitter and seeing people talk about HyperDot and stuff like that. It's just been insane, and I really do appreciate like all of the different comments and things like that, and it really does mean a lot to me.
Oh, I don't even know what else I can say. I'm like being my sappy self right now.
That's my job.
Oh gosh. Well, I think for me, final things that I want to say are the things that I haven't said yet. Mostly just echoing what Charles has said. Like, this has just been such a fun and bizarre journey, like in the best ways possible. I should just end this episode now. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Charles, for being dope and making an awesome game. I think one of the biggest things that I haven't had a moment to say yet is thanks to especially Nicholas and Holly for all of the hard work that they've done, making sure that all of this could be possible, because I think you and I are just two founders doing our thing. And there are so many folks who have supported both of us throughout all of this, whether it's, folks like Sarah Condi at Xbox and, of course, Chris Charla and other folks as well who have been along, like Cherry, for the ride. And I don't think it's a goodbye. It's a see you soon. Yeah. And yeah.
No, and this isn't the end. This is
it's the beginning. It's totally the beginning.
Oh my goodness, that is the most corny. This is
shut
the
up.
end.
It's just the beginning.
It's just the. Oh my goodness.
That's a wrap for season 1 of Hello Player. Thank you so much for following along this season and for caring about our journey. We have a few ideas brewing for the next season in addition to some surprises for our community, so I hope you stay tuned. And in the meantime, you can continue the conversation with us and the Hello Player community at discord.gg/glitch. Hello Player is produced by me, Ava Carr, Holly Harrison, Ben Hansen of MinMax, with music done by none other than Charles McGregor. Thank you so much for listening, and see you again in Season 2.